What is up? What is up? What is up? Testing. Hello. How's it going, guys? I'm just going to go live for a little bit. I have some free time. If anyone wants to keep me company, you can. If you don't have to. I don't really care. I just want to talk about. So today is like day 20 or something like that. Day 20. I forgot. I titled the video with the accurate thing, but I am cutting sugar in my life. Shout out to Dr. Robert Lustig. You know, it's funny. There's a funny thing in life that happened to me. I always thought that I was a smart guy. I always thought that I was better than other people. I don't have a drug problem. I don't have a any type of an addiction problem. Okay, but it turns out that I actually did. You see, I was judging others. I was judging others, and I was doing the same thing. It turns out that I actually was addicted to a white powdery substance. It wasn't the booger sugar, as people call it. It was just regular sugar. It turns out that I was an addict the whole time, and I didn't even know it. Here's a crazy thing about sugar is that it's in every single thing, whether you realize it or not, dude. You know, like a frozen pizza? A frozen pizza contains like 20 grams of sugar. I looked it up. Like I read the box. It has 20 grams of sugar. I always thought, oh, well, it has a lot of protein. It's good for you, this, that, and the other. But it's actually terrible. You know something else I learned recently? Sugar is related to like congestion and sinuses. I always thought, you know, if you have allergies, let's say your allergies are really bad in the springtime, it might not always be pollen and shit like that outside. It's like it could be that you're just eating way too much sugar and you have no idea how to live your life anymore. Because the thing about sugar is that once you're on a like a hedonic or a dopaminergic treadmill, you just have to like have more and more to keep going, and you don't even know what normal is anymore. Like I would just go to the store and I would get like, I don't know, 12 or more donuts, and I would have like a piece of each donut, and I would just think that's normal. Whereas a normal person will have one donut, you know, a week or something like that, and then be like, all right, I'm full, and that's my treat. But for me, I was like, it wasn't enough for me to have one donut. I would always be like, all right, well, I'm at the store. I don't come here often. I wasted the gas to get here. Why don't I just get like, why don't I just spend like $50 on donuts right now? Just so that I can have variety, you know? And or I'll have donuts for the rest of the week. I don't care if they're not fresh. I'm just gonna eat stale, custy donuts. And that's what I did. That's what I did with my life, dude. For the longest time. Here's the other thing. The other thing that you got to realize about sugar, why it's very important to quit sugar, is gut inflammation. Okay? What happens, and this is going to be very upsetting to hear if you're not familiar with it, but leaky gut syndrome. What leaky gut syndrome is like, and this is very a layman's term. This is how I'm going to do it. The sugar hits your gut, okay? And you eat so much sugar that your liver and your stomach, the lining of everything, your body just can't process what you're eating anymore. So the sugar burns holes through the lining of your stomach. And whatever you eat, a normal person will eat and they'll digest and they turn everything into poo and they poo it out. But when you have a lot of sugar, it creates holes in the lining of your stomach. So what happens is, instead of the poo just coming out of you, it it'll leak through your stomach. And then it'll be it'll be in your bloodstream. So you're basically getting bacteria in your bloodstream, and it'll show up on your skin and your hand, and it'll look bad, dude. And it's all caused by excess sugar. Now, when I say quitting sugar, I should be clear that I don't mean quitting it entirely, because that's almost impossible, okay? What I mean is like cutting sugars. Like I'm cutting out a significant portion from my life in an effort to not exceed 35 grams of sugars a day. So most days I'll reach like 10 to 15 grams, and then I'll stop. Whereas in the past, I just didn't care. I would just go over that and it wouldn't be a problem for me. I just not that big of a deal. I would just deal with the repercussions of like being congested, having dry skin, you know. But I read that. And this is another funny thing too, is nobody told me to do this. This is all independent research just from YouTube. I learned from Robert Lustig. Shout out to Dr. Robert Lustig, that 35 grams of sugar for men is the limit. And I think it's 25 for women in a day. That's how much the liver can effectively process. So when I say quitting sugars, I don't mean it's not like zero. Like every day, I'll have like, I might have a little something, because I just can't do cold turkey, bro. I just can't. There'll be like a piece of chocolate lying around, and I'll see it, and I want it, but I don't want to exceed my limit. So that's where I'm at right now. On my, it's been a couple of weeks so far. This week coming up will be, I think, 2 weeks or something, or like 3. Let me just check my calendar here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So this May 3rd will be 3 weeks since I started down on this path. And I have to say, it wasn't that difficult. A lot of people have difficulty with like sodas, sugary drinks. To me, that's not, I don't really care about Coke and pop and stuff like that. My biggest weakness is like, I just love donuts and cake and pastries and shit like that. And like, waking up in the morning and putting like heaping tablespoons of jam on your bread. Oh, it's such a wonderful, wonderful thing. But I can't do it anymore because of what I said, the leaky gut syndrome and the dry skin. And who knows, I might be a candidate for type 2 diabetes. As I get older, this is like something I'm worried about. I'm focused on my on my health. I also don't like being a pawn in the sugar industry's game, okay? Going back to what I was saying before about how the frozen pizza that I had, like the box that it had 20 grams of sugar. There's no reason why a pizza should have that amount of like added sugar in it, dude. That's crazy. I don't want to be a pawn in a game that I didn't want to play. Like that wasn't my choice, So that's where I'm at. I'm at the 3-week mark. I'm not having too much difficulty. It's just mostly boring, bro. Cinnabon is right up the street. I could easily go right now and just demolish a Cinnabon. So it's not so much that I'm having like cravings or difficulties. It's really just boredom. Life has just gotten very boring without something that I used to enjoy. And it's not going well for me. I mean, actually, it is going well for me. I do feel I feel less inflamed in my body. I'm not going to lie to you. I do feel less itchy, like, like a drug addict with my favorite drug of choice. I do feel less itchy and like crackheady at the 3-week mark, but mostly I just feel bored. There's clearly something missing in my life that used to be there, you know? Desserts, heaping tablespoons of jam in the morning. I feel like I've lost a loved one, and I have to figure out how I am going to move forward with this, with this gap. One strategy I've been doing is like I've been increasing the amount of protein that I eat in a day so that I feel fuller instead of like, if I didn't eat too big of a meal or whatever, I would be more inclined to be like, all right, well, let me just get a piece of cake. Let me get some dessert, something. But what I realize is that's not really your body wanting that stuff. It's really the bacteria in your gut that the sugar lives off of. The bacteria is driving your mind and controlling you like a car and telling you, oh, if you got like a Milky Way, that would be nice. Or if you got like, just make like a stack of pancakes and pour maple syrup all over it. That's what you need to do. That's a really good idea. You'll feel full then for sure. Instead of, I could just eat more meat or fish or, a couple slabs of cheese and then I'll be done for that meal. And I won't feel like there's something missing. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm at the 3-week mark. This is the longest I've ever lasted, by the way. The first time I tried to cut sugar out of my life was in 2019. I was having a really rough period of time in my life. I was going through a dark period. So every night I would just have like tons of just bad stuff for me, just midnight snacks and stuff. So I developed a cavity and I tried to cut sugar and I lasted 3 days. That was 2019. Summer of 2019. Summer is very difficult because you want ice cream and, so I lasted 3 days before I was like, screw this, bro. This is not for me. And then the next time I tried to cut sugar was, I believe, 2024 or 2024 or something like that. I saw a doctor and he was like, try this elimination diet and see what works for you. So I was doing a bunch of things, but it wasn't really sugar. He asked me to cut like numerous things. This doctor tried to get me to cut eggs, chocolate, dairy, just a whole bunch of stuff. So it wasn't just sugar. That was the second time that I had to alter my diet. The third time, which is now, you know what they say about the third time doing something? It's working out well for me. So I'm 3 weeks in. I've realized that the doctor was wrong, but he was partly right. It is an elimination. It's a discovery process. It wasn't eggs that's the problem. It wasn't dairy. I think the main thing is sugar. So now I'm focused more on sugars and just cutting those out. But I'm allowing myself to do certain things. Like, look, I got chocolate here. Okay? The old me, it says Happy New Year. The old me would have finished this entire thing in like 2 seconds. But now it's like, because I'm only allowed like 25 grams of sugar a day or something like that, I'll have like, if I really want a piece of chocolate, I'll have like the happy part. Or I'll have like the new part. Or I'll have like the year. And I'll just stretch it out. And that's the other funny thing that I've noticed with cutting sugars is that your taste buds sort of reset over time and you appreciate the small amounts of sugar that you get. Like I had a breakfast sandwich from, I can't remember if it was McDonald's or Tim Hortons. And now you got to realize the kind of guy that I was, I would get like pancakes right after, right? But because I've cut so many sugars out, I just had the breakfast sandwich and I was like, holy shit. This English muffin is the sweetest thing I've ever had in my life, dude. And then I looked it up, the nutritional facts. I think it had like 5 or like 7 grams of sugar or something like that. It was insane, dude. And I never noticed that because I was on the dopamine hedonic treadmill or whatever of just chasing sugars after sugars after sugars. So that's the other positive thing I've noticed is that when you cut more sugars out of your life, you really appreciate the few amounts that you have. Like a piece of bread, even without jam on it, will taste like the sweetest thing in the world to you because you're just like, wow, I can taste the texture and the flavor more. I don't know what that is. This is supposed to be flavor. This means flavor. It doesn't mean me playing with someone's ball sack while they're standing up. I think that's also another thing is that I'm able to my mood doesn't fluctuate in a weird manner dependent on if I've had sugar or not. It's I'm overall in a very joyful and happy mood. I mean, that's not to say that cutting sugar did this. I've always been a very joyful and happy individual. No matter what. No matter what happens, you always have to be a joyful and happy individual in life. They can take my balls, but they can never take my joy and my happiness away from me. The sugar is not going to make me happy. I will be happy independent of what I put in my body. So that's something I'm learning too, you know. Um that's it for now. Maybe I'll leave and I'll do an update later on. Thanks for watching if you made it this far, and leave a like and a comment, and look at this. Look at all the stuff I have on my desk here. This is from a previous lifetime. Bubble gum. More bubble gum. I got chocolate here. And this is just stuff that I would put in my body just like without thinking of the negligence. Like just without thinking of the repercussions, sorry. I would just, chocolate within reach. I would just, you know, and the thing is I'm not like an overweight individual. That's the hidden danger of sugars too, is that because I get 10K steps a day and this, that, and the other, very active guy, I always think, oh, well, I'm healthy. Nothing bad is happening. But then you look it up and you see, no, actually, you're doing damage to your liver, but it's actually worse because you can't even see it. It's almost like I was an alcoholic, but with sugar instead. Do you know what I mean? Like I was just doing damage to my liver, but I wasn't getting drunk. Like the thing about an alcoholic, they'll ruin their marriage, you know. They'll sleep with their best friend's wife or something like that. They'll lose their job, their house, whatever. The problems in their life are very real. But for me, the danger is in my gut. It's hidden. So for the longest time, I was able to like live with the fact that I felt like I wasn't doing that much damage, but I was. So let that be a lesson to you for now. So this is 3 weeks in. Maybe I'll leave an update later on. I'm gonna cut it short here. I think it's been almost 20 minutes. Yeah. Best of luck to all of you. That's what I would say to you. If I could leave you with some more advice, look, I have more sugary products here. A Milky Way, just stuff lying around. Just stuff lying around my my desk in my room. I'm showing you this to give you a sense of the kind of diet and lifestyle that I was living. Very dangerous times here, okay? But yeah, best of luck to all of you. Cut the sugars. Don't quit entirely, but cut them out. Keep a limit for yourself. Best of luck, guys.